Hello and welcome to The Wives and the Mic Wives Tales, a weekly podcast that looks at stories from the lives of real wives. Now, things are a little bit different at the moment because it was only right that that we had to actually discuss some of the stories that impact us as Black women. So not just as wives, but as women. And a lot of these stories do come from Black women, so it was only right that we discuss some of these stories, and it's not fair to just ignore them because in Britain, as Black women, we also face racism, and it might be covert, it might be sly, it might be quiet, but it's there, and it does impact us on a day-to-day basis. It impacts the way we feed our kids, the way we go shopping, the way we dress, the way we talk, the things we put out into social media, the subjects we discuss in the pub. If we go to the pub, like, it literally impacts our everyday because it's about what person do you put out there to be received, the Black you or the more palatable you. So first of all, let me apologize because my children are still awake. You might hear some ummings and ahs, some shuffle, 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 and that will be from the babies over there. But as we have to do, we move and we carry out a part of my life, and they will impact my work in whichever way. What was your impression of the violation? What was your thoughts when you watched it or listened to it, depending on how you received it?
My first, I kind of put myself in the situation as you were telling the story. And I think as soon as the nurse said what she said, I just felt that initial shock as well, as if I was there. Like, I could feel every emotion as if it was happening to me. And to be fair, I don't think I've been in that particular situation, but I'm sure I've had like thousands of situations that relate exactly to that situation. So yeah, that's exactly, as soon as I felt it, the emotion just came flooding back, and I could put myself in that girl's shoes at that moment in time.
Yeah.
For me, I was annoyed. I was very annoyed because obviously I've been listening to your other videos as well, and you usually give some kind of like gist, feel nearly like what's happen, is something going to happen there, is someone going to walk in. But then I thought, hold on, this is different, this is familiar, just because the setting, I was able to kind of picture it. And then when she said that, I was another one.
Just to kind of add a bit more to that, so in the story, I wasn't able to get whether it was a nurse or a doctor, if I'm honest, in the real story, but what I do know is that the person was from an Asian background. So she was an Asian practitioner. So someone that we would consider part of the BAME group. And I think for me, what kind of shocked me was the fact that another woman of color would speak so disrespectfully to another woman of color. Regardless of what your thinking is, when you walk into that door, through those doors, you're a professional. And your job is to treat everyone with a professional hat. So my thinking is, what makes this person different that you think you can speak to her in that way?
Well, she didn't think it was unprofessional. She didn't think it was rude and disrespectful. No. In her mind, she just thought, like, why are you making noise? And in my let's say vision, I saw the girl being young. This is probably her first time experience. I think she did the first time. She's young. She's 25 or I don't know, in the early 20s. Like, a smear test that she was having was like an FBI check, and then after I got that, she was getting herself checked, but she just sounded like she young girl, and I can see this nurse or professional in the older ages just thinking, like, that typical, my friend, shut up, like, what is this, why are you talking? It sounds like a brainstorm where what has happened connects to many other things. She was kind of quieting down her experience, quieting down her pain, reminded me a lot, 5 times more movements that I'm that we're all part of. The reason is one of the reasons why Black women are more likely to die than Asian women, because people are so easy to quiet down our pain, and it leads to so many different things. And that's why I was angry.
But also, I think there's this notion of, you know, shut up and deal with it, because, you know, am I supposed to feel that, or am I not supposed to feel that? And there's this thing of, we don't really talk, we don't really open up with each other, we don't really, you know, in the story, the girl talks to her best friend, which is amazing and great, but how many people really talk about going to get an STI check or a health check or a smear test? It's a huge problem within our community, and I think that's one of the things that maybe we need to start to try and tackle or break down. Actually being open with each other and honest, because sex is not a bad thing, and getting a health check is definitely not a bad thing. That's a great thing. You should be doing it regularly, you know. But I think that only really starts if we start to actually communicate with ourselves, but without judgment, without attacking each other, without, you know, well, I was going to divert somewhere else, but I'm not going to take it there. But without kind of adding on cultural or religious goggles, just kind of taking each other to the eye and saying, look, this is what it is. This is nature, and this is what you need to deal with. But, I mean, were there any other things that came out of the story for you, either of you?
The change to, obviously, she's noticed that her relationship has changed as well. She said that her man was at uni and he's been doing all these kind of things. And I think that the woman, the nurse who treated her, or doctor who treated her, is definitely stereotyped as maybe as one of those girls that obviously are doing if but maybe with loads of people. And obviously from the story, from the background, we knew that this was her first boyfriend, her first time, and everything. So she was very innocent to it all. And I think in terms of our community as well, we stereotype people who go to sex clinics as the dirty ones. But the people who don't get checked, obviously they don't know. You don't know if you're dirty if you haven't been checked. So it doesn't make sense, honestly. We have no logic.
One thing as well is that, do you know how she was saying that she was hearing sounds and noises and she wasn't quite sure if that was her or it was or it was being used? And in my head I was thinking, the speculum, did she just have the handbag? But as I was thinking that, I think it was, sorry, I'm very
It's good.
So no, this is what you're gonna get done. Like, but that my issue with this is when you talk about all the other things, there's still the issue when you look internally, when you look at us as a community as well as women, and as you rightly said, we don't talk about it. And when you're feeling during that procedure, that the checkup itself, you start to think, am I the problem, or is there a problem? And that again goes to the lack of communication. What communication did she have before she got in there? You know, what information was she given before that? What information does she have from the get-go? Like, look at all of us walking in on a day. How much do we really know about our own health? How much do we know about our own genitals as well? Like, we don't talk about it because they're the private parts. Don't let anybody touch it. Don't look at it. Don't talk about it. Don't look at people. That's all you hear. As in, let's be honest.
But I feel so bad because I've started saying that to my daughter.
That's it. The same thing to my daughter. No one should touch it. No one should stop lifting up your skirt. No one should see your pants.
Your legs. You don't touch it. Only if you're cleaning it.
But then
those are the same words.
Tell them that, but at the same time, there comes a time in life where you need to know what. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't know what looked like down there for a very long time. Very long time. And even in unis, what taught me, but how many people actually go to a course where that topic will come up, where you can actually see what genitals look like. The first time you're having sex, and you don't look down there and be like, oh, okay, hello, girl, you know. So I think it's very important to also know that maybe the pain she was feeling was okay. It may mean something. It may not. So I think that kind of communication plus knowledge about us, that's very important.
Well, actually, but that does bring out something. So I guess part of her, I'm not saying that the way the person treated her was right, but maybe part of her feeling uncomfortable was more with her and how, and well, no, actually, I guess the story in a way does touch on it, but her lack of knowledge about herself. How do we encourage that learning in a safe way? Is there a safe way to do that? I'm thinking out the box. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I guess just starting the conversation, as awkward as it is,
But with who?
She said she had
so my child turns 12. Who does she talk to? Does she come to talk to me? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Do I tell her to hit a mirror? Like, what, like, I don't know. How does... See?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess it is just, maybe it is a way in the relationship you have with your child as well, obviously, if we're talking about our girls. It's just about having that open conversation, and I don't know, creating that space for them to talk about certain things that they're worried about and unsure about. Because obviously, yes, that might come up, but there's going to be so many other things, growing, that you don't have anywhere to go. You're going to be taking advice from the wrong people if you're talking to friends. Everyone has their own experience with certain things, but you need to find a reliable source to go to talk about certain things.
I think you're right. I think the everything starts from home. And that's and I was just thinking, I have a son, for example, and me wanting to understand, I'm like, I don't know how to have that conversation, but we need to have this conversation. It's uncomfortable because of what we know, but in 3-4 generations times, it may not be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It starts with us having those difficult, even between us, with these 3 women here, I'm sure if we were to go into TMI, we will feel awkward at some point.
Yeah. I'm ready to feel awkward. What do you mean?
But then we'd probably realise that we're all going through the same thing. We've all got the same genitals. So really and truly, whether, I've experienced something, you haven't experienced it, or you might experience it, it's quite similar. So to be fair, it's not like it's going to be foreign to you and to me. It should be an open space to talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess part of what I was kind of alluding to earlier was this whole idea of internalized shame. And I guess what I didn't want to go, the route I didn't want to go down, was this idea of religion and how religion enforces this idea of shame and how our private parts, is shameful and sex is shameful. But that's a conversation for another day. Because Lord knows we could probably really, have a big old chit chat about that. But for me, I guess I wanted to kind of stay a bit more focused on the idea of the level of care that, as Black women, that we receive. And I guess link that whole idea of internalized shame. Do you think potentially that's why we don't push, well, not the reason why we don't, but part of the reason why we don't push for good care? Or do you think we do push for good care, we just don't get it?
Half and half. I think it definitely depends on the situations. Obviously, as Katie already said, 5 times more. In those situations, half the time, people assume that we don't know our bodies. We do know our bodies. So when we are screaming that we're in pain and we want help, we know exactly what we're talking about. But again, the stereotypical Black woman should be able to handle pain. I don't even know where that comes from, but we should. So, they don't actually take us seriously. So in terms of our own internal shame, sometimes it's, we don't want to bother them, or your mom's always told you, wait, not yet, wait, I don't know, your mom's always told you to be quiet as well. So growing up, sometimes you don't want to speak up, or you don't want to make noise if you don't think it's necessary. You might think your noise is unnecessary, but you're actually in pain because you do know your body. So it can go both ways.
I think it's all
honest, sorry, go on.
No, just gonna say the note of the strong Black woman as well. I feel like that has been an issue. The fact that the society tells you need to be a strong Black woman. You never hear the weak Black woman. You never hear the woman. So then sometimes you internalize that okay, I just have to deal with it. I don't, just suck it up, be quiet. It kind of gives you that sense of pride, because the word strong is empowering, but then there is strength in being vulnerable. There is strength help. But we were taught that. We were never taught that. We're learning that now. And sometimes it sounds silly. Like, I am strong by weakness. It's like, that's an word in the first place.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I don't know what happened. I can't for the life of me remember what happened. Lord knows what it was. Who cares? But I was emotional because I was crying. And somebody who was like an elder in my family was like, Nikki, I've never seen you so weak.
Wow.
I was like, I am entitled to my tears. But that is something that's reinforced all the time. My kids are now climbing all over me, so please excuse me if you see them. I have no choice in them. But but so part of what I'm saying is I guess if others aren't gonna speak up for us and tell us or help us or support us in getting that, then we need to be that for each other. We need to actually check in with each other and say, okay, look, babe, I think it's time we take a time out. We need to maybe tell each other, look, it's okay, let me do what I can do for you. Put it on me. Because right now I'm strong. Like, how can I support you? But I think, it's something that we all kind of shy away from, and that is difficult for a lot of us to deal with, because we've always been told that we're strong, and we've always been told that you can deal. So it's very, very what is it? It's very murky waters for us to say, okay, I'm going to try and dip my toe into the water. Can you help me? I mean, how many of us willingly go out there and say, oh, can you help me? Oh, can you do this for me? Or even with my kids, I'm like, I don't like asking people to look after my kids.
No.
Like, I don't. I would rather kind of back them and shoulder them everywhere I'm going than have somebody look after them. But I just don't want to ask for help. I don't want, and then something goes wrong, it's all my fault, and then I have to, I'd rather kind of just take it all on board. But we have to learn. We have to kind of try and unlearn a lot of that, especially within ourselves. Like, we should be helping each other and supporting each other, and not from a place of, she's going to help me next time, but just okay, I see what you're doing. I see how hard you're working, and let me help you with that, support you with that.
I think that definitely unlearning, because I think it's what this Black Lives Matters movement has also brought out as well. It's just the fact that united as a community, we're so much stronger than I don't know why we feel like everyone is out to get us, or we all have to be in competition with each other. And there's another thing that our white counterparts do, and they cry a lot. We don't cry. We don't milk situations. We don't amplify. We don't tell people our situations either. I bet you if your friend had been talking about, oh, this is happening to me, then everyone knows your business. So then when you're coming to say, I want help, then they say, okay, well, we know because you said it. Now all of a sudden, all this stuff is happening to you, but you've been fine for like 3 months and all this stuff's been happening to you. Yeah, you're fine. Just take a week off. Do you get it?
Yeah.
But if it was happening to Sally now, Sally would have been saying, oh, my husband's doing this, and oh, this is happening, and oh, this is happening. So when she comes and tells you, I need a week off, I need time off, then they grant it, because everyone already knows your business.
Yeah.
Sharing, but not like exposing your whole dirty laundry in the community or in the. But it is therapeutic to share. Is when you're going to be lighter. That's the whole point of community. Like, the whole community to raise a child, but they like back in the day they did it differently. If you know what's happening in someone else's life because you're a gossiper or somebody with a big mouth, rather than we are here to share, like, as sisters, we need a sisterhood in many different ways. And that's how and also I think one can be there for someone. What you get is like, you don't really want to be there for that person, maybe because of what you heard or because of your pride, or some people actually don't have the capability to on someone else's baggage, you know, walking through. So I think the more we share, and like you rightly said, unlearn those things, but it starts from wanting to unlearn those things, because if it doesn't benefit you, and even the strong Black woman that takes on everything, you benefiting, proving to yourself that I'm a strong woman. You know, everyone calls you superwoman. How did you do that? You uni with it. You're super. So me too, I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do anything until that one day that you break down, and then, like you rightly said, they'll be like, where does that come from? Like,
exactly.
Like, exactly. And I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know where to go to. But thank goodness that there's actual professionals you can go to on, you know, reveal those things and people as well. But again, how many Black women do go to counselling?
Yeah, unheard of. Well, say not unheard of, but it's just seen, I don't know, all these things, just taboos in our community. It's just, you know, again, we stereotype our own stereotypes, if that makes sense. We just box our people in, and it doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
No need.
Well, I'm hoping that we can, you know, be that generation that breaks that cycle, and our kids will be a lot more open, at least with each other. This might not seem like a lot to anyone, but I hope that even if it's just one person can take away from it, whether it's what to expect from when to go for a health check, or the fact that some things are just not acceptable, or the fact that actually it's okay to have sex, it's okay to look at your vagina, that's fine, it's yours, just like you look at your arm, look at your vagina, it's okay. You know, there's things that within our community have been kind of labeled taboo. Well, what I hope is that this conversation here might not seem like a great big deal, or might not seem to provide some solution, but what I do hope is, even if it's one person who takes away from it what to expect from a health check, or the fact that it's okay to call it a vagina, to look at your vagina, it's okay to have sex safely, or if you don't want to be safe, I mean, that's up to you. You know, it's okay to live life, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to talk about things as well. And I hope that from something like this, that we can kind of get that going, and as a community we can, I guess, come together a bit more and be a bit more unified, and not just in this moment of Black Lives Matter, but moving forward, because we literally are all we have each other, because the white man is not going to come and save us. They're not saving us. So we have to do for ourselves what we can do. And I know that what we put out into the earth right now, into the universe right now, is going to come back for my children and their children's children. It's about kind of making that, you know, bringing the goodness into our community and making sure that lasts for generations. Anywho, on that note, with my son banging away and my daughter giving me side eyes, any last thoughts from you guys?
No, enjoyed the episode and can't wait for the next one.
Whoop whoop. Katie, yourself?
I really love the way you do them. Like, I generally get sucked in. So well done, and I can't wait.
Brilliant. Well, thank you guys, and thank you all for joining us. I will leave all the handles for both Claire. Oh my gosh, I didn't introduce you guys. Sorry, we've got Claire. And she's got a lovely clothing brand called Made by Cece. I'm still waiting for something that I can buy, because the one I wanted was run out, but it's okay.
Don't worry.
And then we've got who is the founder of Mum's Pride. I will put both their handles in where necessary. And anything else you guys want to say about yourselves? I think I kind of covered it.
Covered it all.
Yeah. All right. Yes. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate you, because I know it was so last minute, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You know, if you need me for anything, I'm always there. I'm trying to die like that. And yeah, so yes, I'll let you know when I post it. So thank you guys. Oh, and thank you for joining us. Please join us on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm not that on Facebook, but you can still join me on Twitter, Spotify, Instagram. Oh, I said Instagram already. Google Podcasts, and Spreaker, and iTunes, and anyone else you find me, just Google 4 Wives and a Mic. Is that right? Thank you guys. Bye-bye.